Guys, we are back at the property today, but we are doing something super cool. We are pouring some concrete. Look at that pump truck. Coolest day of my life. Whoa, don't go shaking down the house, Joel. So I've purchased this special clamp. It's brass. It connects to our rebar, and then it has a small little gap right there. Oh, Joel, you're kind of an idiot. First time doing this. Let's switch that around a little bit. So our copper is clamped to the rebar, to this. That's a good solid connection. And then I actually kind of wound it around there just a little bit. So now we have to account for this going straight up our foundation wall. Oh, we're gonna break everything. I'm gonna go 15 feet. Because this rod's gonna go up through the foundation wall, and then it's gotta curve over the top, come back down into the sub panel there. So that sub panel is grounded. I'll just set it right there for right now. And the reason I did it in this particular location is because I know my utility closet is gonna go right here. Right behind this wall will be all of our sub panels, and this is a mech closet for the first 2 levels of the house. And it's really nice that I'm there to oversee that. If I wouldn't be, the contractor would just set it like he's supposed to, but it's one of those things. The inspector doesn't care where it's at, he just cares that it's there. So you as the homeowner or the general need to look at, well, where would it be the best for the house? Sleeves are not part of code, so your inspector is not going to say, hey, you got to have these. It's one of your things that you want to do for the comfort and convenience of the building process later on. It is officially pour day, and we are pumping concrete. And if I tell you my favorite tractor slash commercial vehicle in the world is a pump truck. It is. Ask Bonnie. I want one just because I want one. I mean, that'd be ludicrous, but it's so cool. There are a lot of areas that have kind of drops down to lower levels, up there and then over here, and they're filling those up first. The other part of it too is that they're running a hot concrete. So that means that the concrete is gonna dry fairly fast and set up fast, so they can pump a little bit in at a time in those sections and kind of build it up. If you brought in wet, not hot concrete, it's just gonna pool right out. There's a problem to that though. It is a lot harder to run on this pump truck being hot. It just sticks in the barrel a little bit harder, and it just wreaks a little bit more havoc. It's kind of what you do though, when you don't have a choice on that. I was talking with all the operators beforehand. Both the operator and my concrete guy have both seen these trucks tip all the way over. They've seen the plumbing on these blow out, and they told me when that happens, windshields are gone, you're done pumping for the day. It's a big problem, but it happens because that concrete is like sandpaper going through that pipe, and it wears it out, and so that's what has to be replaced pretty consistently. And they do carry extra tubing for some blowouts, but just depends on what happens. This is my forming guy and concrete guy. He is laying it and directing where he wants it to go. The pump truck operator runs with a remote operator, which is so cool, and he just follows along, and they kind of communicate with each other. The key to any good pour is having good communication between these two. And most cement truck operators and pump truck operators are around this so much, it becomes a sixth sense to them. So they know what's necessary, what's needed, and they know how to not be a nuisance and be kind of a help. Hey, Tootie. Concrete, can you smell it? It's the best smell in the world. One thing to note is the footings have to be a foot deep, and that's a standard across pretty much everywhere. That's almost a minimum, is 1 foot of depth, but these are only 2x8s. So they kind of base the bottom off is squishing out underneath. And yes, that does cost you a little extra in concrete, but at the end of the day, it also gives you a little bit wider of a foot and base. Truck number 2. Pump truck's here, concrete's here. We're on our second truck right now. So I think he said 52 yards. Well, that's why they had to bump it from Monday to Wednesday, was because the yardage was just so much that they were like, we can't take that all from Monday's batch. So they're filling them halfway full. They're just kind of getting the trough set up, running around, letting it settle. We're onto our second truck and our third's on the way. Then they're gonna come back up and fill them full, and then they'll kind of screed it a little bit. It's a rough screed on foundations, which is pretty cool. What is really neat is they're going to pump, pour, and strip and snap lines all in one day today. Today's gonna be a long day for them, but they're gonna get it done. Truck number 3, coming down the driveway. This is what we call a J-hook. I think they should be called L-hooks, but still, that's a J-hook. And it goes down in and to the side, so once the concrete is set, it can't lift up or even slide side to side either. Then your foundation walls have something to be strapped to as well. So your footing and foundation theoretically should never separate. We have 500 of these to install. So they refer to it as a mat. So this is a double mat, this is a single mat. All of the footings are set, poured, and are just waiting right now. They want to wait for about the afternoon so it's dry enough so they can come and strip all in the same day, which is pretty convenient. Once these are stripped, they're also going to shoot with that true system again, the outside perimeter of where the foundation walls are going to go. And then our footing guys are completely done. They'll tie their hands of this mess. Then it becomes the foundation guys from then on. Oh yeah. Booyah. She's ready. That bright orange chalk line is the outermost section of our foundation walls. And these guys have gone back in and used the same instrumentation that they used to mark out the footings to begin with. It's the same machine, and then they went back and chalked those lines. So now our foundation guys are gonna be dead on when they build this wall. And then that just starts working its way up for the main floor and the second story. The framers will be working off these same true lines. I'm really grateful that these guys had the technology to do it. It's possible to do it without, but it really is comforting. It's a little bit easy on my mind knowing that we started out perfectly accurate down here, and then that will just transfer up. If you're off down here, you have what we call exponential error, and that just means that that error continues on. And so if you're off by 2 inches down here, you could be off by 3 up there. It's just kind of the way it goes. So now we're working with correct and accurate information. The next step is footings, and I'm not quite sure when that's gonna be, but definitely know that you guys will be along for the ride. So if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you're not wanting to miss out on any of the today's task build on the Holing 13, make sure you hit that notification bell. And I wanna hear your comments and thoughts on the house. I love seeing what you guys are questioning or wondering, and hopefully I can answer those. And I love hearing your ideas, because some of those do get implemented because they're just thinking outside the box that I wouldn't think of. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Here is good proof of how their system is like pinpoint accurate and the other system is off. So they did a measurement based off of the footings that they built, and this is where they initially put a chalk line, or just kind of a rough line, so that they could at least lay this J-bar in. But when they went back in with their machine, this is how tight it is and perfect that corner is. So it's really not too far off on this line, but it was way off on this line. And it's okay, because these lines were here to just tell us where to put that J-bar, so we're okay. But when they put that foundation wall, we want it dead on there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Holy cow. I don't know how it's a little bit ease on. There's some new boots, guys. Fancy new boots we got. So before they strip, or not strip, less concrete and